Good morning, beautiful people. I miss you guys. Good morning. It's your girl, Shonna Etienne, and I'm here with the Virtual Book Club looking for you guys to come on so we can pick up where we left off at. It's been about what? A week and a half, almost 2 weeks. Oh my gosh, it is really time for us to get it popping again. So I wait for you guys to come on so I can get started. And when you get an opportunity, share the video with others so that they can know that I am back on and we can pick up when we left off because we're talking about money management. We are talking about debt and we are talking about relationships. So just let me know when you're ready to come on because I'm ready to get to talking. So let me just go ahead and share this video and we can get started. It takes money to play, people. It takes money to play. Money to play. All right, I just shared the video with my timeline. This is awesome. So I'm just going to wait till I see some of you guys come on and I'm going to get started. So I see we have a viewer. I just don't know who is the viewer. So when you come on, just say hi because I want to see my people again. I miss you guys. And especially since I've been getting inboxes about the virtual book club and how people miss it. So I expect all you guys to come on and share the video so we can get started. I am back. I am back. I am back. Okay, so we know Lewis is on. Hi, Lewis Balan. Peace and blessings. Sister Muhammad. Yes, I'm so happy to see you back. We got to talk and I'm sure we're going to talk. So, yeah, peace and blessings to you. I'm so glad that you are on this side of the earth, and that is a great thing. Some of you guys may have known that I was pulled over by racial profiling with the state troopers, and I have not shared it to this video only because there was a piece of me I didn't want everyone to see because I blacked out. But that's just how I am. But I did have another video that I did. I'm going to share with you guys with what the steps I'm going to take now to fight against injustices. And y'all know that's how I'm built. I'm going to fight against the system until the day I die. So I'm going to go ahead and share that video. Peace and blessings to you, Omar. Peace and blessings, Vanessa. Oh, there go my husband. He is always on there faithfully. Good morning, baby. So we're about to get started with this virtual book club. I'm smiling this morning. I feel better this morning. I'm releasing that negative energy from me. It is no joke to get racially profiled by state troopers, and it's important that we know what to do in those situations and we know how to fight it when it's done. Too many of us walk around and we release it after it happens and we do nothing about it, but that's not what we're going to do. So today, for the people who are new to the virtual book club, we are reading Financial Lovemaking, Merging Assets with Your Partner in Ways That Feels Good. This is a book that was written by Dr. Boyce Watkins. He wrote this book some years ago when he was in his 30s. We laugh about it today that I'm actually reading this book to the audience. So that's going to be a great thing. Today's topic is really about debt. It's about debt management. The last time we did this video, we left off speaking about how you should probably clean up your debt before you get in a relationship with someone else. You shouldn't come into a relationship with so much debt because having more stress in a relationship can actually damage the relationship. And it doesn't mean that it's not a good relationship. It just means that the stress of the finances and the arguments outweigh the pleasures that you're receiving from the relationship because debt is not pleasurable. And that's a negative energy that too many of us bring into our relationships with our partners. So part of this that we're talking about is how to make sure we are cleaning up our debt before we get into relationships. And today's topic is really going to be about understanding debt and understanding good debt versus bad debt. And we're going to touch on that. So let's get started. Many of the greatest companies in America were founded using debt. When debt is widely available to American businesses, our economy prospers. During the savings and the loan crisis in the early 90s, the lack of available debt led to a major economic downturn. Debt is good for our economy, and it can also be good for your life. So basically what Dr. Boyce Watkins is saying here is there's good debt and there's bad debt. When you create debt for the purpose of stimulating extra money, for the purpose of generating income into an economy, into your household, into your relationship, then debt is not necessarily a bad thing. The problem happens when we don't manage debt correctly and we generate money without the ability. I mean, we generate debt without the ability to generate enough income to manage that debt effectively. So that's what he's talking about. I know that my position on debt is a radical concept for most. However, you should think of debt like a really fast car. Now, you know Dr. Boyce Watkins come up with some of these analogies, but just follow him because it makes sense when you follow it clearly. It can help you achieve some great things, but it can also get you into trouble if you are not responsible. The responsible use of debt for a productive purpose is not usually a bad thing. The same thing can be said for drugs, fire, or any other powerful thing in our society. So he used the analogy of a car because if you purchase a really fast car and you're reckless with it, right? You're going to die or get into a really bad accident, right? And hurt somebody else. So he's comparing debt to a fast car, saying you can buy a fast car, that's cool, but you must know how to control it. You must know how to manage it, and you must know how to do the upkeep and the maintenance on the car to ensure your safety at all times. It is the same thing when it comes to debt. If you're going to get in debt, make sure you can manage it. Make sure you can control it. Make sure you can financially keep up with the maintenance of debt. Because the minute you fall behind, the minute you fail to pay a bill, the minute you fail to pay a credit card bill, it has some damaging effects, not in one area, but in multiple areas, including your relationship. Because nobody wants to be in a relationship with somebody who got debt over their head and they can't take them out. We can't go on vacations. We can't pay the households. We can't enjoy life as we are designed to enjoy life because we got so much debt. Who wants a partner like that? But unfortunately, some of us have partners like that. We are in relationships with people who are not responsible with managing their money. And this is the comparison that Dr. Boyce Watkins is making. Peace and blessings, Justin. Good morning, Charles. Yes, everyone is coming on. We are still reading Dr. Boyce Watkins' book, Financial Lovemaking. All right, so we're talking about debt today, people, the ones that just came on. When is debt a good thing? When is debt a good thing? Borrowing money is only bad when you are not going to earn more than you borrow. So borrowing money is only bad when you are not going to earn more money than you borrow. That's when debt can be a bad thing, right? But other than that, debt can be a good thing when you use it to generate more income. In the case of education, buying a home, or starting a business, debt can be a very good thing. In fact, I would not live in a world without debt. So if you go into school, well, let's check this out, because I see his point, the point that Dr. Boyce Watkins is making. But I want to tie it into some practical situations, practical life, because some of us, we start school programs that we don't finish. That's not good debt. You can't go to school, take out a loan, and don't finish. Right? Because that wasn't very responsible. See, when I first started my doctoral program, I looked at the financial implications. What was this going to cost me? And once I made up my mind and I made that commitment to invest in that education, or in my education to get my doctorate degree, I realized at that point it was an investment and that I had to finish. Does it stress me out? Yes. Guys, I graduated in May. Whoop, whoop. Does it stress me out? Yes, it stresses me out. Do I like all the people there? No. Do I agree with the narrative of the professors that are teaching me? Most of them I don't. However, I'm thinking long term. I'm thinking the investment. I made the investment already. It'll be foolish for me to drop out when the investment has already been made. So I'm staying the course. And then I'm going to take that investment and use it in a way to increase my income, to get me more income back in. So when I start to pay off that debt, it doesn't harm me. Make sense what I'm saying? That's when debt is a good thing. When you're buying a home, if you're buying a home for the purpose of generating more money, or I guess for a strategy of saving more money, then a home can be a good thing. I say can be because if you guys have been following me for a while, you know how I discuss real estate. And sometimes, not all the times, but sometimes real estate is not a good investment for some people, especially when you're living paycheck to paycheck, because the minute you mess up, that house is going to be taken from you. People think when they own it, when they buy their home, they own it. As long as you have a mortgage and somebody else's name is on that financial papers of your home, you don't own it. You got to pay it off. And even after you pay it off, if you mess up on your taxes, you can still lose your house. The government can take your house for not paying taxes. So there are incidents when buying a home is a good debt, but there's also times when buying a home is a bad debt, especially for people who do not know how to properly manage their money. All right. I hope this makes sense. You guys talk to me. I'm not saying you guys talk to me, so talk to me. I know I'm teaching, but I like to interact with you guys. So debt can be a good thing. But when is debt a bad thing? When is debt a bad thing? With all this being said about debt being a good thing, I should discuss the other side of debt. The scary side of debt is that it creates something called leverage. Leverage. Somebody type in leverage. Debt creates leverage. Leverage is defined basically as placing yourself in a risky situation that can hurt you financially if things go wrong. So when you have leverage, right, when you're in debt, is leverage. It may not be leverage for you. It may be leverage most of the time for the person, the entity, the company, whatever you borrowed from. Is leverage for them. Because if you screw up, they could take your house. They can put liens on your property, liens on your paycheck. They can do a lot of things. Take your business, sell the items that's in your business. Leverage for your debtor, right? So when that happens, it's not a good thing when you mess up. If you are highly levered, it means that you will either be way up or way down, like a really long seesaw. Remember the seesaws, kids? We go up and down. That's what he's talking about, seesaw. Part of the Great Depression was blamed on our country's excessive use of debt to finance stock market purchases. When the market was going well, things were happy and good. Children were laughing and playing, and people felt richer than a fat man and a bowl of ice cream. Where does Dr. Boyce Watkins get these analogies from? But it is funny. When the market crashed, many investors were unable to repay their loans with their existing assets, which led them to have to sell their stocks to raise the cash. When everyone in the stock market is selling at the same time, it creates a downward spiral on stock prices, making the crash even worse. So when people did not have money, when they did not have money to pay off their debt, they started to sell their stocks, pull it out the market in order to stay afloat so they won't lose their house, so their children won't starve, whatever, they won't lose their marriages, right? And when all of that started to happen, it hurt our economy, and that's what caused it to crash. And once the economy crashed, even those who pulled out their money in order to survive, they found themselves in poverty. They found themselves homeless. They found themselves starving no matter what. So we are all tied into a larger system here. We think that the stock market doesn't affect us, but it does. But it does, because if that market crashes, everything gets turned upside down, especially if you're in your own business or you're working for somebody. Because if people cannot pay for your services or your product, then you're going to go out of business. And if the business that you're working for cannot afford to upkeep its payroll, meaning paying you, then they're going to start to cut jobs in order to cut expenses so that they can save their money that they do not have. So we are all tied into a bigger system here. So it affects each and every one of us. Good morning, Sakia. Good morning, Lynn. Good morning, Clint. I love you guys. I love to see you guys on. So let's talk about that. The same thing can happen in your own life. If you have high debt, you are exposing yourself to a great deal of risk. Companies that loan you money expect a fixed loan payment, and they do not care what is going on with your personal financial life. If you lose your job, I just said this, people, if you lose your job or your wealth suddenly drops, you are still forced to deal with the debt. This doesn't even count the extraordinarily high interest charges that may be forced upon you to pay. Even in our relationships, think about it. We got to manage debt because this is all about financial lovemaking. It's about merging your assets with your partner. So how does this affect relationships? So maybe there's not a stock market crash going on right now, right? Maybe we're doing great right now in the economy, which we are. But I'm going to say this. If you are married to somebody that has poor financial management and high debt, meaning they cannot control themselves, they're spending money left and right. They're buying items they do not need, which we're about to talk about. They're doing all this frivolous, ridiculous thing. And you're married to someone like that, and that person loses their income, whether it is their business shutting down, whether it's being terminated from their job. They lose their income. They lose their income. Now you not only have to manage the household expenses, but really, what happens to that person's debt? Because when that person is stressed out with the collectors calling him or her to pay a debt, what do you think is going to happen to that relationship that you're in? I don't even care if you're married to the person. It affects marriages. It affects courting. It affects dating. It affects boo loving. Even if you got somebody you boo love with. Let's just be honest here. Let's be practical. It's going to negatively impact the relationship because stress can tear families, relationships, whatever. It can tear many entities apart. So we have to really learn how to manage our debt because poor financial management leads to crises, right? So my husband is saying we all experienced this in 2007, 2008 with the real estate market hit. Absolutely. Many people lost jobs, homes, and savings. Yes. But right now, baby, this is my husband, guys. Say good morning to my husband. Right now, what tends to happen is so many people, and we see this, babe. We see this with the people that we work with. So many people, they get into this illusionary thinking because things look like it's going well right now. It's the same thing when you're in relationship with somebody. When things look like it's going well financially and you start opening up credit cards and buying cars and buying houses because you just got that awesome job or you just got a pay raise and you didn't put stipulations in place to cushion you if there is a crash, if there is a financial crisis. What happens to those relationships? And husband, as a tax accountant, you see this on a daily. When people are breaking up, they're getting divorces, they're fighting over tax returns or over the fact that now they got tax collector debt. Now the IRS is after them, all because they were not financially managing their money when they had it. So we have to manage our money. Let's move on because I'm about to finish up. For these reasons, you should get rid of as much of your bad debt as possible. After you get rid of your bad debt, you should then focus on your good debt. The wrong reasons to borrow money might include the following list before. So we got to focus before we go over the list, and then I'm logging off. We have to focus on our bad debt right now. So a strategy that must, not what we should use. If you have debt, the strategy right now is to pay off your debt before you do anything else. Too many people who say like, you know what, I'm going to invest in this because maybe this is going to make me money. Then I'm going to be able to pay off my debt. That may not be the smartest way to think. I understand people do it, but you have to pay down your debt first or that stress is going to be there. There's nothing better than paying down debt and then be able to use your money in ways that can bring you more money. As long as you have high debt, you really shouldn't be trying to entertain other scenarios that requires you to get more debt in order to possibly generate a return on it. Make sense? I hope I broke that down as practical as possible. But I'm basically saying, if you have high debt, I'm not talking about $1,500 in debt. You can knock that out. You can knock out $1,500 in debt easily. But if you have high debt, before you make a decision, let's say to purchase a home, right? Because that can be an investment. Before you make a decision to get into an investment like that, the goal should be to pay down your high debt first. Because if you have high debt and then you purchase a home, although a home ideally in theory, should be an asset, it can become a liability when you have the stress of managing that home you just bought and managing your high debt. It leaves no money. It leaves no cushion there. So that's not smart. So what Dr. Boyce Watkins is saying, the first thing you want to do is pay down your high debt. And then you can start to consider taking on good debt that will generate more revenue into your home, into your pockets, into your savings, into your business, and the list goes on, right? That is the strategy. So what are some of the things that you should not borrow money for, especially if you have high debt? Especially if you have high debt. What are some of the things, guys? I'm going to say this to you. Buying a new car. Now, I'm not saying buying a car, because sometimes you need that car to make more money, right? You can't be taking a bus and to every job area, because everyone doesn't live in New York City. Everyone doesn't have a phenomenal transportation system set up. So sometimes you may need a car in order to generate income into your house. That's understandable. But do you need a new car? Do you need to take on a car note in full coverage? Because you can't just have liability when you have a car note. Do you need to do that in order to get to and from work? No, you don't. Sometimes we got to buy a hoopty. Y'all know what a hoopty is, right? Because y'all know I'm from the hood. Y'all know what a hoopty is, right? Sometimes we have to purchase a hoopty in order for us to generate money. And then when we start to pay off that high debt, then and only then can we consider buying a new car. But I'm going to say this. Why buy a new car? I don't buy new cars anymore. I did that once. And it was the stupidest decision in my life to buy a brand new car. I already buy them used. Because the minute you drive a car off the lot, its value depreciates. So it doesn't make sense, in my opinion, to buy a brand new car, especially when you don't have disposable income that pays for that car and doesn't harm your pocket. The wealthy people can do it all the time. They have disposable income, but it may not be wise for you and I. Okay? So let's get on. Another thing that is the wrong reason to borrow money is Sage. Sagey, mommy's on TV, so you gotta take it down a notch, okay? I love you. Give me a kiss. Love you. I love you. Okay? Another reason not to borrow debt. Borrowing money to buy new clothes, jewelry, electronics, and other counterproductive extras. Y'all heard of hood rich, right? We got so many hood rich people out there. You always see them in a decked out bag, a Gucci bag, a Louis bag. You always see them in some red bottoms, their bloody shoes. Cardi B is so funny. But you always see them making these kind of purchases and ain't got no money. It doesn't make sense. You making high purchases, but you can't afford to live. You live in paycheck to paycheck. That is bad. That is bad. And too many of us are in relationships with people like that. We're in relationships with people like that. We are in relationships with people who do not know how to control their spending. So they're buying these ridiculous items, stressing their partners out because the finances in the household is bad. We're stressed, but you're buying a new car. We're stressed, but you're buying expensive shoes. Why would you do that? So that's the wrong thing to do when we're getting that debt under control. Don't be out there buying stupid stuff. Sometimes you got to discipline yourself and say no. Sometimes you just got to turn it down. Even if it looks good, it might be fun to have, but that's an emotional purchase. My whole motto, how I live my life, if it's not going to make me money, I'm not going to entertain it. Now, it doesn't mean that every now and then I don't treat myself, because every now and then I do. But if it's not going to make me money, I am not going to entertain it. Number 3, nearly any kind of credit card debt. Now, for the purpose of building your credit is good. But if you have poor financial management skills, do you really need to get a credit card? If you are not disciplined, do you really need to get a credit card? I run into people all the time that brag about having an American Express card. But did you know that with American Express, you have to pay the balance off of that card at the end of the month? Unless I think the blue card offer monthly payments, but the interest rate may not be good. My point is, why would you get yourself into something if you don't have the finances to pay it off? And making minimum payments on your credit cards will get you in trouble. Why would you do that? I don't understand that. So don't go out there and get credit cards if you already have poor discipline with managing your finances. Number 4, borrowing money for something you don't need. Borrowing from Peter to pay Paul for something you don't need. People are so comfortable doing that. Why? Don't come asking me to borrow money so you can get here. It is not. I don't make this stuff up, people. I've had people say to me, "You should loan me $200. I want to get this unit." No, you don't. Not with my money. I ignore those kind of text messages and phone calls. I'm not going to respond to you. I'm going to loan you money so you can get here. You sound real stupid. You understand what I'm saying? Stop borrowing money for stuff you don't need. If you can't afford it, you don't need it. It's just that simple. If you can't afford to take that trip, you don't need it. Now, people see me go on cruises and stuff, and cruises are expensive. But with the proper financial management, you can manage it. You should really be booking your vacations, people, a year in advance and making your payments on them. Setting out a budget and make your payments on it so that you won't have to miss out on the finer things in life because you don't have money. If you manage your money effectively, you can do a lot of great things. I know people who only make $30,000, $40,000 a year and they live life abundantly. They live life to the fullest because they have excellent financial management. Sometimes it's not the size of your wallet. It's all about how you manage that wallet. So I'm not telling you not to have a great life. What I am saying to you is we have to get better at managing our money, especially when we are in relationships with other people. And I'm going to take it a step further than Dr. Boyce Watkins and say, even when we may not be in an intimate relationship, but if you have children, the way you manage your money will impact your children as well. Right? So when we are in relationship, whether it's with our children, whether it's with our spouses, it doesn't matter. When we are in relationship, period, we have to have excellent financial management because our poor decisions will harm the people who are connected to us, including your creditors. But they have a power to garnish your paycheck. That's the difference. Number 5, borrowing money for another person who might not pay you back. Let me say that one again. Borrowing money for another person who might not pay you back. How would that look? How would that look? Well, let's see. Somebody calls you and asks you to co-sign on a loan. Hell no. You can't call me and ask me to co-sign on your loan. Are you serious? Never going to happen. I don't care if I'm in a relationship with you. If I'm looking at the way you move and I'm looking at the way you manage money, why would I want to co-sign on your loan? I'm asking for my relationship to end. Why would I want to do that? If you wasn't responsible enough to manage your money and manage your credit, don't call me and ask me to help you improve your credit or to get you the items you want and need. I'm not going to do it. And a lot of time people get into relationships with people and then they find themselves, because they're in love, they find themselves co-signing on cars and other types of loans. Are you out of your mind? Then that relationship ends and now you got to chase that person to get your money? How that look? I ain't chasing after no money. Oh, no. No. That's crazy. So do not go out there and sign loans for people out of the name of love, even your children, especially when that person you're putting your neck on the line for has poor money management skills. That's not a smart move. And the last thing, and I'm logging off, is borrowing for purchases that have no value after the purchase is made. Borrowing for purchases that have no value after the purchase is made. He says no value, but I'm going to say low value because we may make a purchase like a brand new car. I'm not going to say that car doesn't have value. You can turn around and resell that car, but it has a lower value now. We got to watch these kind of things. These kind of purchases, don't make sense, are buying fads. People like to buy fads. I call them doodads. I got that from Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki's. People like to buy doodads. They go out there and they say, you know, I want to get this, I want to get that, and then the next thing you know, after they buy it, no one's using it anymore. It's lost its value. It doesn't even make sense to even have it. Now you got to throw it in the garbage. Why? Why? People that can't control their spending, they go out there and they buy clothes. Tags are still on the clothes, and then they turn around and they selling the clothes that they paid $150 for at a garage sale for $20. Does that make sense? So we really have to be conscious, people. Some of us got this down pat, and I love it. I love it. We really have to be conscious about the decisions that we are making, especially amongst the Black community. If we are going to do what we say we're going to do and uplift our community, we got to be conscious the way we spend our money. Stop buying frivolous items. Stop getting into high debt. But if you know you have a business idea and you have a customer base who is ready to buy, and you have to get in debt in order for you to increase your revenue, in order for you to generate more money, then that makes sense. But that too must be managed correctly. Because one bad move can cost you your relationship, can cost you your house, can cost you your job. In some cases, it costs people their lives. Now, I ain't jumping off no building because I have high debt, but we all know people who have committed. Okay, we know a lot of white people that have done that. Yeah, but I'm sure if I dug, I could find some Black people who have killed themselves because of debt. Yeah. And don't get involved with the gangs and all the other stuff because they'll kill you too for debt. Hello? I mean, y'all know I'm the voice for the people. So I'm not just talking to the bougie, and I'm not talking for the haves, and I'm not just talking for the educated. I'm talking for everybody. Some of us are involved in some illegal activities, and we can even pick up debt that way, right? You don't smoke your own supply, right? Like that's what Biggie Smalls says. Never get high on your own supply. Let's just be real. I'm going to talk to the people. I'm going to talk to everybody, right? So you can't even make those bad decisions because that decision can cost you your life. Now you owe your kingpin money. Now you got to pay off something and you ain't got the money to pay it. That might put a bullet in your head, right? So we really do have to manage our debt in all areas of our lives, especially when we are tied to other people, because that's what relationships are, not just intimate relationships, but relationships with our children, our bosses, our kingpins, our pimps, our hoes. I'm just saying. I mean, it's a little bit of humor, but I'm just saying. I'm just keeping it real. So that's all I have for you guys today. I love you guys so much. Oh, whoa. Lynn is saying, boo-hoo. I wanted to make real estate investment and then pay off credit cards. If I pay credit cards, then I got to grind for weeks for the down payment. The struggle continues. Yes, I feel you, Lynn. The struggle is real. Just like Marianne is saying, the struggle is real. But Lynn, pay down them credit card debts first. I'm telling you, Lynn, when I got divorced from my first husband, he left me in over $30,000 credit card debt. He filed for bankruptcy and got his wiped clean, including the home. I had to not only pay off that $35,000 because I refused to put a bankruptcy on my credit. I paid it down. I canceled all my cards. I worked out a percentage. Let me say this to you guys. I know I'm rambling on, but somebody needs to hear this. When you have credit card, and I can only talk from experience. You guys know if I've gone through it, I can talk to you guys about it. I went through everything. Infidelity, everything. I went through everything. I can talk to you guys about it because I'm transparent. When you have high credit card debt and you find yourself trying to stay above water to pay down these debt, the smartest thing I'm going to say to you guys that we can do to manage that is to get in contact with the credit card companies. Never ignore them. Never ignore them, especially when you're behind and they're calling you for their money. Don't ignore them. Get in contact with the credit card company and let them know you want to work out an agreement with your percentage rate. Tell them you would like to close your cards because you can no longer manage it. And I want to pay your debt. I want to pay you your money. I do not want to go into collections. I do not want to file a bankruptcy and stick you for your money. I want to work together. I need for you to lower my interest rate, my APR, in order for me to manage these payments. I will close my account so that I won't be able to make any other purchases, but please lower my rates. And they did that for me. One of my rates was lowered down. This is when the boom happened. This is when we went into financial crisis back in 2007. And when that happened, they had raised my interest rate to 26%, and it made it impossible for me to manage my minimum payments. So they lowered my 26% rate down to 9%, and another card that was about 16%, they lowered it down to 6%, and they canceled all my cards. And I was able to manage those payments, and I implemented the snowball effect. So the snowball effect, I'm going to make it really simple. Looks like this. So as I'm paying, let's say, for example, I was paying Bank of America, which is true. I was paying Bank of America. So my payment with Bank of America, I committed to paying $135 a month as opposed to the $50 minimum payment. You never want to pay minimum. I was paying $135 a month. When I paid off, and like say, for example, the $135, and I was paying $50 on Capital One. So I'm paying $135 on Bank of America. These are true numbers, guys, and $50 on Capital One. The minimum payment on Capital One was $25, but I paid $50. Once I paid off the Bank of America, because it had the higher interest rate, that's the one that was at 9%, and it had the most debt on it. Whereas Capital One was at 6% and I had less debt on it. Once I paid off all of Bank of America in 3 years, because I owed like $20,000 on that one, I then took that $135 and I applied it to the $50 payment I was making on Capital One. So that brought it up to $185 now I'm making. You're not changing it. You're already paying $185, but it was already split between two cards. The only thing you're doing now is taking that $135 and applying it to the $50, and so you can pay off that one faster. That is the snowball effect. Then you take that $185 and you apply it to the $100. So now it's $285 and you're paying off that so you can pay that one off faster. You're not missing the money. You are already making these payments. The mistake that many of us do is once we pay off the $135 bill, we think, because some of us, I don't know where we get our thinking from. It's illogical. We start to think, oh, I paid off the $135, so now that's $135 in my pocket. No, it's not. Don't even think that way. None of that money belongs to you. It belongs to your debtor. So just apply it to your next payment. And after you finish that one, apply it to the next payment until you pay down your debt. And then you can entertain the house, Lynn. And I'm saying this to you because I had a short sale. That means I had to sell my house less than what it was worth in order for me to desperately get out of that mortgage because I was drowning and they were calling me. So I had a short sale, Lynn, on my credit. And that's not a good thing to have. So I urge people, don't buy a home if you have high debt, because you have to manage both of these. And you cannot predict what's going to happen with your money because money is a variable, meaning it's not fixed. Money is always changing. You might be up, you might be down. What do you do when you are down? That's what matters. So I'm done here, guys, because I started going into a financial literacy training, and I have workshops that I sell with that kind of stuff. So, oh my gosh, I think that was great information to give you guys. Pay off your high debt. Utilize the snowball strategy to pay off these credit cards, these store cards, these student loans, whatever it is. Utilize that. Bring it down. And once you free that up, that's what financial freedom looks like. Financial freedom looks like being able to use money at your leverage for your entertainment to get more money so you won't be stressed. That's when you become financially free. That's like what I think Omar has said to me. Damn, you able to just pick up and bounce. I strategized, but yes, I was able to pick up and bounce my daughter's birthday because you have to manage your money. And you also have to know how to generate more money just in case that money gets low. All right, I'm done. That's why I love to help people start businesses. That's why I love to help people manage their money and get out of debt. That's why I love to help people, because I know that we can do this if we're given the right information in a language that we can understand it. We can get a hold of our finances and we can live like kings and queens that we are. So that is it. This is Dr. Boyce Watkins' book, Financial Lovemaking. We are going to pick up tomorrow with the virtual book clubs. You guys pray for me, and I will be changing the time. I just don't know when. And don't forget, on September 29th, I'll be speaking in Louisville, Kentucky. I have been sharing the links. I will keep on sharing the links. Make a commitment to show up because there's going to be some great people there. We're doing some great things with the Black community at the All Black National Convention. And we're planning, we're strategizing, and we're implementing. Some people want to plan all day, they want to strategize all day, but they do not implement. I am implementing, and I'm also now a new instructor at the the Dr. Boyce Watkins Black Business School, where I'm helping people how to transform their business pain into profit. I love you guys. I'll speak to you soon. Be blessed. Now let me log off.